Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Lexus NX300F Sport, registered GX64VHU. Mileage is currently 74,560. The reason we do all of our videos is essentially so that if you're looking online, you actually get to see the car advertised in operation. The reason we feel it's important is because we know to our cost, having gone to see quite a few cars which looked good, only to get them and drive them to find out they had a fundamental issue. So that's why we do it, so we can report back anything to you if there's something apparent on the vehicle. We also do the road tests on these lovely quiet country roads very close to our premises. This actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, so hopefully then it'd be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. The way these videos are edited, this video comes after a walk-around video, which I'll hopefully have done, but sometimes I don't have time and you only get to see this video, so it gets a bit sort of mixed up. So, but for fear of repeating myself, this is actually my wife's car. Every now and again we sell our own vehicles, quite clearly. It is our own car, albeit the company will provide the car with a 3-month warranty, but it is a purchase from us. It is rare, but we're entitled to sell a few cars of our own. And the reason we bought the NX300, just a little bit background to it, is we hadn't actually had one before. My wife's either normally has a Honda CR-V or an RX 450, which is the last one she had. And we've been selling quite a lot of the CT200s and the IS300s, and we love them, absolutely love them. But it isn't a given that we'll always like, cars. So we like to, rather than just offer them to the public and then just say we like them and we don't really, is actually to try them, see if we like them, and if we do, then we'll go off and buy some more. And it was obvious that we were going to love it. Not only is it a fantastic looking car inside and out, but like the other Lexus hybrids, it just drives absolutely beautifully. It really does. It's so soothing to drive. I'll come to the hybrid system, how it works. Not entirely how it works, but just do the basic stuff, like there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any part of the car. Temperature gauge running at just over 1/3, which is exactly where it's meant to be in one of these cars as well. The hybrid system, if you haven't driven one before, it is amazing. It's absolutely amazing, especially actually if you're doing lots of town driving, lots of stop-start stuff, as well as being brilliant on the open road. But what you notice with them is, because it uses a CVT gearbox, and with the way the hybrid system comes in and out, so a lot of the time it would be running on pure battery alone, it makes manoeuvring so smooth. Low speed, it's so quiet because it's generally in battery mode. It really does, and I've said in quite a lot of the videos with the hybrid systems, it makes conventional, even good automatics feel quite clunky and agricultural by comparison. It's just got a wonderful way it delivers its power. You have 3 modes of driving, by the way, with these cars. It's not complicated, even an idiot like me can work it out. When you get in the car, it'll automatically start generally in what they call normal mode, which is what I'm in now, which in fairness is where I spend most of my time driving the car. You can twist it to the left and go into eco mode, but I find that a little bit too slow, and press the button again to go back to normal mode. If you really want to, twist it to the right, a rev counter appears on the dashboard, and suddenly the throttle response is much more urgent, really gets up and goes. But I find it's just, the middle mode is, for me, so 90% of my driving, absolutely perfect. As Lexus say, these are, they've latched onto the fact that with people looking to buy plug-in hybrids and pure electric vehicles, the often used phrase is kind of range anxiety. And believe you me, I drove a Nissan Leaf and I experienced it. There is no range anxiety other than how much fuel you've got in your tank, as in the old-fashioned way. So basically, you cannot run out of battery. It won't. It'll just go to the engine and use the engine alone. But it's always charging up as you're driving along. As you back off the throttle, if you hit the brake pedal, it puts power back into the battery for the hybrid system. It's just genius in the way it works. So it takes away all of that angst and worry that you can get with pure electric vehicles, and gives you this wonderful kind of middle ground between the two. But driving the car is so smooth and quiet. It really, really is a fantastic unit. The gearbox, obviously, as I said, CVT, so it's constantly variable transmission. And again, when you put your foot down, the revs rise, you kind of catch up with the revs, but there's no gear change. There's no kind of, you can feel gear change. Even the best gearboxes, you can still feel it, especially when they get indecisive at kind of, when you're off throttle at sort of low speeds. But if I pull away now, get up to 60 miles an hour, just put your foot down, you hear the revs rise, and the car just catches up with them, and you get used to driving them. Some people get into them, put the foot down, and it revs like mad. They think, "Ooh, what's that?" But you don't. You just put your foot down, and you can actually back the throttle off slightly just to smooth it all out. It becomes second nature. It's in seconds, but it works brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly. Steering tracks dead straight. No vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. It's a lovely power steering system, very accurate, very precise. Feels incredibly car-like to drive. Even the seating position gives you that kind of intimacy driving it, even though you are up higher with a really good view around. The chassis of the vehicle, again, what I'm looking for on road test on any car, regardless of manufacturer, is just listening out for any kind of rattles or clonks coming from underneath the car that shouldn't be there, and there's absolutely nothing at all. It's solid in that respect. It also gives, it's a very comfortable car, especially in kind of A roads and motorways. It just glides along. But on B roads and roads like this, where you've got lots of changes of direction, it's really capable. Turn in is really sharp. The ride, as I said, very comfortable, sort of the firm, sort of nuggety feel that I love in the car. Brakes on the car, just going to give them catching up with someone now, just touch them. It's really powerful brakes on the car, and as I said, that does a lot of your regeneration for the hybrid system. So coming inside the car, not been cleaned. This is a car we use day in, day out, but it's lovely in here. This beautiful red leather interior, and they've got the red stitching on there. It's a very, very high quality machine, but beautifully designed. It really is a lovely place to jump in and drive a car. Most cars are kind of slightly bland. They do the usual things in the usual way, but Lexus have made an effort. You've got a nice sat-nav screen, all works perfectly with your reverse camera. Then up here you've got a separate controls for your climate control system, which I really like. I hate having to navigate through things to find, you can do it on the pad down here. Just press menu, then you've got this it's very intuitive map pad, and you're into climate control. But I find it's just much easier to operate it up here. That pumps out absolutely ice cold air, by the way. Heated seats, again, all working perfectly. Then down below that you've got this really nice sort of setup for the driving modes. You can go into EV mode only. Don't for a second think that's to drive along on battery the whole time, because it isn't. I sort of watched a road test with my jaw dropped. It was basically people that sort of do lots of videos for electric cars, so obviously that's their thing, which is fair enough. We've all got our, and I've driven electric cars, so I've seen them good and bad. And there's lots of good about them, by the way. I really enjoy driving them. But when he got in there, he mocked the EV mode as if it was, blasphemous to put the thing in the car. It's actually quite a polite button, actually, if used correctly. If you lived in a built-up area and you had to leave early in the morning, or your job meant you had to do leave at different times, which were unsociable or antisocial, when getting up and starting the car in the morning, you just press EV mode, pull out of your cul-de-sac or estate on battery only, so it's whisper quiet. So it's actually a really lovely button, and the individual that ridiculed it perhaps should have seen the bigger picture in that one. But then back here you've got this little the pad there for your controls. Your hand naturally rests on here. Really easy to use. I hated these when they came out, absolutely hated them, mostly because they were really jiggly and horrible to use. This one is much easier. It's just basically just roll your finger across. You get used to doing it really, really quickly. It's a It's really obvious how you do these things, but yeah, no, I really like that. Dash in front, again, really nicely laid out, even in kind of the normal mode as I'm in now, and then so twist it around, changes that rev counter, gives you the kind of this red hue. It's conventional but stylish. It's really, really beautifully done. Lexus do these things brilliantly well, because it's the information it imparts is easy to take in. That's the whole point of it, no matter how pretty it looks. Steering wheel, lovely, sort of fat rimmed, leather bound, stitched leather with the red stitching which follows all the way across the dashboard. You just know you're in something quite special in the car. You really are. We have loved this car, and we will get another one. But you know, it's time we moved it on now. As I said at the start of the video, the point of it is to pick up any issues there might be with the car. Not expecting any, of course, because we've been driving it and it drives absolutely perfectly. Having said that, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call.